The first thing that I would like to say with it all is you can work with Reiki your entire life and never want to or need to connect with spiritual guides on a relationship level. In my experience, they're here with us and they come with us, those that we know before we even are born here, and they join us, and it's an agreement that we make. You also get to choose who they are. A lot of times people think that you have to wait for them to present themselves to you. If there are particular ones that you want to know, you can invite them and develop that relationship. And so you can choose who they are. You can work with one, you can work with a team. You may have religious experiences with spiritual beings that you are already in relationship with and want to develop those relationships further. So the first thing to know is that when you are working with enlightened beings, they have no requirements of you as to who you choose, the relationships that you develop, and the level of relationship that you want to have. They are here for you when they are enlightened beings. That means that they are outside of duality. So the earth is a dual realm. We have higher and lower consciousness here. And there are spiritual guides that live in dualities. Just because something is non-physical, according to us, they can also still be in the realm of duality, where they have higher and lower levels of consciousness. When you go into the enlightened realms and working with enlightened spiritual guides, now you are working with ones that are non-dual. So they only have love. They do not have an absence of love. They only have grace. They don't have an absence of grace. They have non-duality. So today, who we are going to invite in this journey is that you meet enlightened beings. So that means they are non-dual. One of the ways that you would know that is, for instance, as we talk about requirements from them and with them, a non-dual being would not have jealousy, or they wouldn't have, like, for instance, well, you haven't talked to me in 6 months, so I'm not coming. They wouldn't have that kind of relationship with you. They are very, in the enlightened realms, are very aware of the idea that we are living in the dual realms. We are living as human beings, and they are very aware that they need to be in support of us and loving of us with no judgment. They have no judgment. So that's what we're going to work with today. And I know that there are many people who work with spiritual guides that are very highly conscious, that still exist in the dual realms. And so that's appropriate if that is who you are in connection with and in relationship with. Reiki energy is always coming from the enlightened realms. It's always coming from the place of non-duality. It never has duality. It never has jealousy or judgment. It's always here in support, and it's always here in that higher level of consciousness. So when you are choosing which beings you want to work with, there's an awareness of, am I in the enlightened realms? Am I in the higher consciousness realms? But they are still in duality. So you get to choose that and you get to decide that. Reiki energy will carry you into the enlightened realms. So the beings that you are working with, for instance, are going to be enlightened beings. So there are also other journeys that we do, like in the 12 Heavens class, for instance. We just did the journeys into the second heaven, which is a spiritual realm, and it's still a realm of duality. But in that realm, there are very highly conscious spiritual beings that someone may choose to work with. The difference is that you know where you are, you know the energy that you're working with, and you know the energy of the guides that you've chosen. You also can see some guides that, let's say, some of them show up and you look at them and you go, I'm just not sure about you. I don't know. I'm watching you and I'll decide. You get to do that. There is no requirement that you make a choice. If you have a religious preference and you already are in relationship, you know, I grew up as Catholic. I grew up in relationship with Jesus and Mother Mary and you know, the archangels, and I'm still in relationship with them, with that love, with Reiki energy. They are primary guides for me. I also was trained in shamanism, so I also learned about other guides. Some of them are in the non-dual or in the dual realms. Some of the ones that I worked with, and I have a good understanding of them, still higher consciousness. Some of the nature spirits that we are connected with on the earth, they can be in a duality, but still highly conscious, still the beings who want to work with contributing to the wellness between the worlds and between the dimensions and the spiritual realms. It's just a matter of knowing where you are, who you're working with, and the energies of them, and developing skill around that so that you have confidence with it. So how is that relevant to you in your Reiki practice? So for me, because it's part of my training and part of my skill set, you know, they're part of my sessions, etc. I also want to be very clear that Reiki works without that. Reiki always knows how to do the work. It's doing the work when we're working with it. And so you can go your entire Reiki life and only work with Reiki energy. And you will always be working with an enlightened source of energy and levels of higher consciousness. So it's entirely up to you. And it's such a big subject. I mean, my shamanic training, and I received my doctoral degree with in shamanism. So like years and years and years of training and study to have an in-depth understanding of this topic. And of course, here we can only, you know, touch on it to a degree. It is one of the things that we work with our next step classes and going into our 12 Heavens class on an extended level. But it's a topic so many people are really interested in. So we want to bring it in a journey today for you. We are using Reiki energy to make the connection. Whatever level of Reiki energy you have is exactly right for you. And again, if this is something you are already in relationship with, you are absolutely, you know, today in the journey, you can go into the realms or into the journey and meet with the ones you're already in relationship with. Also, one of the ones that we work with, because of our animal Reiki energies, we are working with the divine animal kingdom, and they are in those enlightened realms. Many of you are familiar with the term of the third heaven, and the third heaven is a non-dual realm, an enlightened realm. So we are in the journey to the third heaven to meet the spiritual guides and teachers. So that's kind of an introduction, and I want to leave enough time for Robyn is going to guide the journey and leave enough time for that for you. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. That's just an introduction of it. And then she'll guide you in the journey, and you can have your own experience of this. Again, let's say you're here and you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. You can go on the journey and just observe it, and you can totally decide it's not something you're interested in. And so we have built-in safety with it. If any of you are concerned, like, what if I get in there and it's a guide I don't want to know? You get to say that. You have the authority. That's the whole piece of this. Your authority to be sovereign and to choose is the greatest authority, and Reiki energy always respects that. It always respects your choice, your free will, your sovereignty, and your authority. So you get to determine your choice in all these areas. I personally am so endlessly fascinated by it in my daily life because of my relationships with my spiritual guides. One more thing that I will say with that, and then I will stop talking, is even though I am in relationship with some of the spiritual guides that I have, they're not all the ones that I invite to do my Reiki work with me. I have very specific guides that I am inviting for my actual Reiki work. If I'm walking through the forest and I want to be connected with the spirit of the earth around the trees and the water and perhaps the fairy realms or the nature spirits showing up, those are relationships that I have, but I'm not asking them to do my Reiki sessions or my specific Reiki work with me. So just like you have multiple friends, and some friends you're going to engage with on one level, and some friends you'll engage with on another level. Some of them you do Reiki work with, some of them you don't. It's the same thing with the spiritual realms. You can have relationships with ones that are not doing your Reiki work with you. So there. We've been trying to have this conversation now since this is the third week going into it. So we'll keep talking about it over the weeks. But it is one of those topics that is of great interest for people. So we wanted to make sure that we take the opportunity to spend this time. As I'm getting ready to finish up, Kuan Yin is the goddess of mercy and compassion. And I'm going to be in Japan on Mount Kurama in less than a week, or less than 2 weeks. And Kuan Yin is the goddess there that you meet. She meets you right at the opening, and I'm so excited to spend that time with her too. So anyway, she's kind of here in my ear going, I'm here. So anyway, all right, Robyn, I'm going to stop.
Okay, well, hello and welcome everybody. I know we have a lot of new faces, so just to kind of give you an idea of how these normally go. So they're pretty relaxed space, so you're welcome to come in late, leave early if you need to. We know that some people, and that is even dependent on your week. and what you have going on. So feel very comfortable, very stress-free in just being where you're at and how you need to show up today. Generally speaking, we have some time where we talk about different Reiki subjects or different spiritual subjects, like Colleen just did. And then we usually do either a guided meditation or invocation, or as today, where we are doing a guided Reiki journey. And what a guided Reiki journey is just it's a little bit more active. So where an invocation, and that will be a part of it, and it was kind of what Colleen did earlier, is calling in the energy, activating the energy to support the circle and the container of space that we're in. A meditation is more of just being in presence in your body, and a guided Reiki journey is more about like seeking information, or a little bit more of that active space where we are, intentionally going in and answering some of our questions. And so that's what we will be doing today. The whole thing will be guided, so you just get to be comfortable where you're at, and just allow your experience to be where you're at. And then after we do our guided journey, our meditation, we will go into breakout rooms where we give and receive Reiki with each other. And then after the breakout rooms, we do a little bit of group Reiki, where we send Reiki to kind of world events, things like that, where we're doing group Reiki. So just to give you an idea of the format of what we do. So now, and then if you're not able to join for the journey, like somebody just said that they have to drop off, we do post these, as Colleen said, on YouTube on Thursdays. Or if you just want to explore the journey again, or some of our other past ones, or you're not able to make it, you can always go and check out our YouTube, where they will be posted again.